Tonight, struggling to keep up. Visits to Dawson Creek's food bank doubles. Toxic drug alert. Northern Health issues a warning. And Purple Light Nights, a new initiative to tackle domestic violence. Well, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us. And we begin tonight with a crisis affecting more than 25% of families right across the country. The rising cost of food is pushing some families to the brink. Here in Dawson Creek, St. Mark's Food Bank has seen its number of visits double over the past few months. As Noah Abel reports, it's not just individuals that are struggling to get by.
One of the rules is doesn't matter who it is or how much money they make, we can't refuse them.
At St. Mark's Food Bank in Dawson Creek, volunteers are setting up for another busy day. Today, those in need can enjoy a homemade hamburger soup or can pick up food in the food bank pantry. With kids heading back to school earlier this month, St. Mark's is trying to keep up with the demand.
Our August was actually probably double more than what we usually do. In August, we reached about 849 visits for the month.
BAT believes soaring food costs and an increase in the price of almost everything causing many families to panic when it comes to putting food on the table. She says the food bank is also affected by the high cost of food, mostly relying on the community for funding and donations.
If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to have this food bank.
Walmart provides a variety of items 5 days a week, while Safeway takes care of sandwiches. No Frills delivers non-perishable items 3 days a week, and Co-op provides bread. St. Mark's is still in need of more financial help, as the charity also provides personal care products, baby supplies, and animal food.
We do rely on our community still, and we are hoping that we could still receive the help that we need.
Organizers say they are expecting larger crowds as we get closer to Christmas and as it gets colder outside. They say they are always looking for new volunteers wanting to make a difference in the community. Noah Abel, CJDC-TV News, Dawson Creek.
For the fourth time in just over 3 weeks, the emergency room at the Chetwynd Hospital is on diversion. Northern Health making the announcement on social media. Emergency department services will be interrupted between 7 a.m. on Tuesday and 8 a.m. Wednesday. And once again, the health authority citing staffing challenges as the reason for the closure. Northern Health asking residents in need of life-saving care to still call 911. Patients will be taken to the nearest available hospital, which is over an hour away. This is the 19th time this year the ER in Chetwynd has been forced to close. And in an effort to address the chronic staffing shortages in healthcare in BC, the province is saying tonight its efforts to attract U.S. healthcare workers are paying off, with hundreds of American doctors and nurses applying to relocate to British Columbia. Health Minister Josie Osborne says the province has received more than 1,400 job applications from U.S. professionals since May. And she adds over 140 have already accepted offers. The surge follows a recruitment campaign that the province launched in March, targeting Washington, Oregon, and California. The goal is to improve health services across BC, including by shortening wait times and strengthening team-based care. A toxic drug alert being issued for northern BC. Both Northern Health and the First Nations Health Authority warning the public. A purple paste is being sold as down. It's tested positive for fentanyl, benzos, and medetomidine. The drug has been linked to a number of overdose events. Medetomidine is a non-opioid sedative, and it can cause an increase in fatal overdose and complex drug poisoning, which involves deep and prolonged sedation and very low or no pulse. Northern Health says that smoking the drug is not safer than injecting it, and that patients may not respond to naloxone. The Fort St. John Women's Resource Center is teaming up with the RCMP to shine a light on intimate partner violence. The Purple Light Nights Intimate Partner Awareness Campaign is taking place in Fort St. John during the month of October. Mounties say that 80% of intimate partner violence is not reported to police, and it's usually experiences between 17 and 34 times before being reported to Mounties. The campaign honors those who have lost their lives due to domestic violence, supports the survivors, and gives hope to those still living with abuse. The event kicks off on Wednesday, October 1st at Centennial Park in Fort St. John. You can also support the campaign by wearing purple and displaying purple lights at home, schools, or businesses throughout the month of October. The BC Conservative Party looks a bit different tonight. Surrey Cloverdale MLA Eleanor Sturco has been ousted from the party.
I feel really sad. I feel a deep sense of hurt because the reality is that I've worked really hard.
This all coming after leader John Roustad survived a months-long review, the vote resulting in a 70% support from more than 1,200 members who voted across BC. Now, Roustad's leadership has come under scrutiny, including a controversy in which he and the party acknowledged an internal audit caught 2,100 inappropriate memberships being signed up. Sturco didn't mince words in calling for his ousting from the party.
I hope he resigns. I hope that he receives pressure from caucus members. I hope they, honestly grow a set, whatever you want to think that is.
Roustad said the party is unified going forward, and axing Sturco was necessary to ensure that unity. Well, a couple of BC ostrich farmers have been arrested by the RCMP today. It comes after a 9-month fight to keep hundreds of ostriches from being slaughtered by the Canadian Food Inspection agencies. Teams of police are on site along with lots of supporters. Andrew Johnson now on where things stand.
Are you going to tell your kids I was on the wrong side of history?
On day 2 of the heavy RCMP and Canadian Food Inspection Agency presence at the farm, supporters say the family who runs it is being mistreated.
And they can't sleep, they're stressed, it's disgusting. It's like domestic terrorism from the government to the public, to the citizens. They are being terrorized, and they are good, wholesome people, and they don't deserve it.
Shame! Shame!
Those farmers have been arrested for refusing to leave the animals and hand over the property to the CFIA. Police action they knew was coming.
We've been notified that if we don't leave the property this morning willingly, that we will be arrested and removed from our own private property.
The farm is running out of time in its 9-month fight to save the birds after an avian flu outbreak killed a few dozen of them last December. The CFIA says the ostriches could still spread a unique and more lethal strain of the virus. The farm insists the birds are healthy and their antibodies should be studied.
They're not listening to us. We've been trying for 9 months of clear communication of that these animals are healthy. Can we test them? That is it. Can we test them for virus? And that's been denied.
It is unclear when the CFIA could begin the cull here. The farm says it has submitted emergency court filings to delay it. Supporters tell me they're hoping for a miracle to save these animals' lives.
The province is expanding the mandate of a group that's responsible for auctioning a portion of BC's timber supply. It follows a months-long task force review to meet today's challenges felt by the forestry sector. Yvonne Raymond has the details.
A new mandate in BC is being unveiled as forestry workers and some of their communities struggle.
Countless mills that we represent, people will end up leaving, good tradesmen that are in the province that will leave to go to other provinces because they just can't handle the instability of the forest industry right now.
The province says it's giving BC timber sales new tools to better support jobs and resilient forest ecosystems.
With Trump's economic attacks, increasingly intense wildfire seasons, we need to take bold and decisive action. BC timber sales will set the stage for how our sector can thrive today, tomorrow, and for the next 7 generations to come.
The plan is being launched behind BC's legislature.
The recommendations we put forward envision a renewed relationship between government, industry, and First Nations. One grounded in collaboration and shared decision-making.
It follows a months-long review and comes a day after critics held the same spot, declaring a crisis.
Since 2022, more than 5,400 jobs have been lost, and 9 mills have closed since 2018.
This building has put a stick in the wheel of our forest industry, and we would like to see it removed so that we can go back to sharing our prosperity with the rest of the province.
Minister Ravi Parmar says the recommendations signal a vision for forestry.
I think there is huge potential for British Columbia to be a forestry superpower. We have in the past, but we have to do it in a way that balances stewardship and ensures that First Nations are at the table, part of discussions, and also getting the benefits from it as well.
This worker is hopeful and watching.
Rest assured, I'm going to be knocking on doors, making sure we're holding them accountable.
Yvonne Raymond, CTV News, Victoria.
And staying with the forest sector, Ottawa is dropping a pair of legal challenges it launched over the United States decision to slap duties on Canadian softwood lumber. Global Affairs says it made the move in the interests of securing a long-term deal on softwood lumber with the U.S. It says the government still believes that American anti-dumping duties are unfair, and it's pursuing 6 other legal challenges. The U.S. Commerce Department announced plans last month to raise duties on Canadian softwood lumber to more than 20%. Washington claims Canada is flooding the market with cheaper, subsidized products. Ottawa today also announcing next steps in implementing its volunteer buyback program for assault-style firearms. It starts with a 6-week pilot project in Cape Breton before opening up to eligible gun owners all across the country. Rachel Aiello has more from the nation's capital.
Have you not failed at the task of getting this moving faster?
Absolutely not.
The public safety minister faced tough questions today as he unveiled the next phase of the federal firearm buyback.
The opening of the program to individual owners.
A program that he questioned the efficacy and enforceability of in audio leaked just yesterday.
I have absolute confidence in this program.
Then why did you say what you said? After a Cape Breton test run, owners nationwide of the more than 2,000 makes and models of firearms that the Liberals have outlawed will be contacted with instructions on how to participate. Those seeking compensation will either be able to turn their firearms over to local police after scheduling a time online, or keep them after proving they've been deactivated by a licensed gunsmith. The public safety minister said the context of his recorded comments were that he wanted the program implemented faster. But now, years after the buyback was first promised, firearms owners have until October 2026 to comply. And critics are calling for Gary Anandasangari's resignation.
On Monday, a minister says that his program won't work. On Tuesday, he says he's going ahead with the program.
The minister also faced calls today from gun control groups to expand the ban, saying unless additional semi-automatics are added, Canada's buyback program will be a waste of the more than $700 million already allocated. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
To the United Nations General Assembly now, where Canada's Prime Minister co-chaired an event today with the President of Ukraine. The session with Vladimir Zelensky focused on Ukrainian children abducted by Russia. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
At the United Nations, the Prime Minister and President Vladimir Zelensky called for the return of thousands of Ukrainian children taken by Russia.
Putin has stolen Ukrainian children.
Russia first abducted them and deported them.
Together with our allies. The most emotional pleas came from their wives. Diana Fox-Carney making her first international speech alongside her husband.
As a mother, I simply cannot fathom the horror. What these children have endured is more than unjust, it is inhumane.
Their identities are changed, their ties severed, their hopes destroyed.
Canada said it's investing in AI technology to help find the Ukrainian children. Only about 1,600 children have been returned to their families. In his address to the General Assembly, President Donald Trump spoke of his frustrations with the continuing war.
It was supposed to be just a quick little skirmish. It's not making Russia look good. It's making them look bad.
Earlier this summer, during a meeting with Vladimir Putin, Trump hand-delivered a letter from the First Lady calling for the return of the children. Her efforts were acknowledged by Mark Carney in front of European leaders.
We welcome the recent powerful appeal to President Putin by the First Lady of the United States to consider the plight of children in ending this war.
This is an area of common ground between Carney and Trump at a moment when Canada is breaking with the U.S. in recognizing the state of Palestine. Judy Trin, CTV News, New York.
And Donald Trump addressed that Palestinian declaration by Canada and some other countries during his speech to the United General Assembly today.
Now, as if to encourage continued conflict, some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state. The rewards would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities. This would be a reward for these horrible atrocities.
Trump said world powers should instead focus on securing the release of hostages that are still being held in Gaza. France, the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and Portugal have all recognized a Palestinian state in the past 2 days. All right, please do stay tuned. Noah will be right back after the break with weather.